What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Joe. We got a Poseidon versus Zeus matchup for you guys here in game number 8. It's a best of 9, so that means that Joe is on game point. He just needs one more win. One win away from being crowned the champion of the $1,000 competitive mega random tournament. The first of its kind. Yes, it is the first of its kind. Now, we see a lot of very fun things here. So first comment is Joe is out of Egyptians. He's won with his ice, he's won with his rise, won with his set. He's won with his Poseidon. Now he needs to win with his Zeus. Obviously, Zeus was, well, maybe not obviously. Zeus was what I thought was going to be his 4th win, but he won with Poseidon first, so he gave that away, and now Zeus is going to have to be his final win. Now, Ulysses has got access to plenty of gods still. He plays every single god, basically, so we'll have to see what he wants to play here. He does choose to go in with Poseidon here in this game. And we'll see how that's going to go for him. He still has his Hades. He still has his Poseidon. He's used his Zeus. He's used his Uranus and his Kronos. So he could go in with Egyptians in the next game if he wins this one. And he could go in with his Norse, any of the Norse if he feels like it. So there's still that powerhouse of an Odin, which I think a lot of players are considering to be a very, very strong pick in this situation. So we'll see if that's something he wants to do or not. And we'll see what Joe's got planned in this game number 8. As the villagers making their way up onto this granary over here. Plenty of elk over here for him. So he's going to be happy about that one. And it's also a bit of a closed map. You can see that this map has got the cliffs around the edge. And it's fairly open. There are some cliffs in the middle of the map as well that you can use to wall off and just make the terrain just a little bit more spicy, a little bit more different. And we'll see how that's gonna end up going for Joe and Ulysses in this game. As we see the Katoskopos roaming around, looking for something to do here. So let's talk a little bit about strategy. We could see Joe go for the same strategy he went for against Ulysses in the Zeus versus Zeus mirror, where Joe went for like a early centaur into 3 town centers, and that works fairly well against Poseidon. Other options, there is an Athena option here, which has been fairly well explored. You can go 1 town center Athena aggression, or you can try and go for a 2 town center Athena and play this much more like metagamey, like your opponent's going to spam walls, go late because he doesn't want to deal with the centaur and all that stuff, and you just say, I'm just going to go 2 town center Athena, fast mythic, and use my Underworld to try and win this game. That's one option there as well. So centaurs or Athena against Poseidon, definitely an option. Ulysses, on the other hand, he has to play reactively here. And because it's such an open map, I mean, kind of open map, it might not be as open as I think. He's got a decent town center over here. He's got decent Auric over here. He's got a decent gold mine over here to boot. This one's going to be a nice one for Ulysses to go for a 2 town center defense here. So we'll see how that's going to end up going here as this game continues. Both players choosing Hermes, so no real surprises there. Got ourselves Canopic Jar of Imseti over here. Negative 15% infantry training time at the top side of the map. We've got the Girdle of Hippolyta, plus 5% Toxotes, Chariot Archer, Throwing Axeman, and Arcus hit points, but I guess the Toxotes is all you guys care about in this game because that's all that they can build. As the Katoskopos is going to be scouting this one out, we see that there was bonkers smart. I've never seen that before. He's now made these walls really weak there. That's classic Joe abuse here. Trying to micro that Katoskopos to path block the villager, but instead he is path blocking his Jason here as the villagers are trying to do what they can do. Nice micro here from Joe as he's blocking in this villager as best as he can. But the villager does get back here, doesn't get picked off. We see these villagers now getting targeted down as Hermes does pop for Joe as well. The villagers going to be making their way over onto this town center. Do we see immediate center? Yes, we do. Joe does prefer to get his 2 centaurs out and then Sylvan Law. He might be going for 3 centaur instead though, because he's not against Zeus. There's no real rush to get Sylvan Law, and there is a rush to get those 3 villagers out. Those 3 centaur out to one-hit villagers. As Ulysses now getting his 2nd town center up, and Joe needs to be like, okay, where next? He's got 2 villagers on gold. He's got himself 7 villagers on wood, and he's got himself 7 villagers on food. So plenty of food in the bank. So I wonder what he's going to be doing with that as the game continues on. And Joe's centaur going to now come in, check out this town center. He will be able to get a couple of shots off at a villager or 2. Does he know that this is here? No, he doesn't. He's just scouting around, and he will see that town center does come down. The Hippolyta comes in, an immediate bolt getting thrown onto that one there, as Ulysses does have the 2 favor there remaining, and ceasefire gets cast. Now we get to wait 1 minute here, and I get to take a juicy sip of water. Or as the Americans say, water? Water? I don't even know. I don't even know. Whatever. Onwards and upwards. More centaur coming out. We do see stables getting dropped for Joe. So Joe's feeling like there's a very, very real possibility that he can go incredibly aggressive in this game. So he's going double stable, which is a very raid-heavy game plan here. So what has Joe seen that indicates that he feels like he can make this work? There's heaps of pigs. There's basically safe Auroch over here as well, while we are seeing the walls getting dropped. But essentially, if your opponent goes 2 town center and you go 1 town center, you have 5 minutes in which you need to find, or you can just get, if you get a lot of villager kills, but you have 5 minutes in which you are actually technically in front in terms of usable resources. So there's 700 resources that go into the town center, and then there's the 50 resources for each villager you build extra over your opponent, which take about a minute to pay off themselves. So you only start seeing benefits to this town center the first minute after you build that extra villager, and then that villager is getting you 1 resource per second roughly, and then after 15 seconds there, you're getting 2 resources per second, and then 3 resources per second after another 15 seconds, etc., etc., etc. And that's how you can kind of work out that the math equals about 5 minutes. You have an advantage over your opponent here. As the units do push in here, the Odysseus and Jason are going to be sending those ones back as the center almost gets taken out here. The Odysseus and Jason do win this fight pretty hard, though, because they do have the HP advantage as Zeus. So what Joe needs to figure out is how is he going to find an advantage here? The walls are all up for Ulysses. This gold mine here is super open, and I would love to see Joe making an attack onto that, as Sylvan Law is going to be coming through. But we might be seeing Joe feeling like he needs to hit this food over here, which might be, I'm not necessarily difficult here, but he's going to be going for it nonetheless. We see the centaur currently waiting for Sylvan Law before they dart through the enemy base here, as that's exactly what they're going to go for. There's some villagers over on the berries, villagers on the gold mine here as the centaur do pop through, and a villager kill here for Joe. Nice play there getting that one, and he's just going to have to keep on doing that as the gate getting torn out. We do see Toxotes and Hippocon coming through for Ulysses in an attempt to defend this, as the centaur are going to be regrouping with the Hippocon up on this position as the villagers calmly pull back away from those Aurochs here as a stray Hippocon. Definitely don't want to be throwing that one away here as the centaur do come in here. They can take out this villager potentially from behind the forest, as that's exactly what they're going to be doing. Keeping the villager differential relatively equal here. Joe's going to be pulling back, looking for something else to kill here, as the unit's just sitting back here. The centaur does see the enemy centaur here, so going after that makes a lot of sense. He does manage to pick off a Toxotes, but takes a lot of damage onto his other centaur there, pulling away for the time being, as this granary is the target here. But this does give the Poseidon player a little bit of militia here, as Joe decides against taking that one down. As Joe can now think about going heroic age, maybe. Wouldn't be a bad idea. and then like a Mythic Age Hera to try and get a gold star. If he goes Apollo, Underworld in between these two, or maybe here, these two gold mines here and this one with a Hera could be a way forward here for Joe to try and get a victory here in this game, as Ulysses is going to be desperately trying to hold off something like that as the centaur do pop through here. Can they hit a villager? Yes, they can. That should be a dead villager there. Nice play from Joe. The unit's retreating back. He should be regrouping and trying to target these units down. If your opponent does build units and you're building centaur, it's always value to try and just move in and snipe those off. Yes, there is a Hippolyta here, but you can definitely catch your opponent off guard a lot more than you might think here. As Joe is now able to advance, he's getting his armory up. This build is looking very crisp here from Joe, and a very scary build to boot here, as the unit's going to swing around, try and maybe break down this wall and go after these villages here, as the centaur getting a cheeky look over here. We see Apollo coming through for Joe, so it makes a lot of sense here. As Ulysses' army over here is going to get called over to deal with these Hippocon that are coming in. We do see that the wall has been built up on this position to allow the villagers back over onto this hunt. The centaur might be able to kill this villager. As he gets 2 shots on that one, it will get away there, as the Hippocon cannot push in here just yet. And now Joe's got to think, all right, where to next? Is over here. Is going to be getting these Aurochs. The centaur do come in onto this position. We'll pick off a villager here. It does get that one, and he can kill this villager on the farm as well, which he's going to be choosing to do, retreating away. There's still a huge villager advantage for Ulysses, and by this point he has paid off that town center, so he's actually technically at an advantage population-wise. Going to be taking down the temple, though. It does give a lot of militia over to Ulysses, though, as a defense. So Joe will have to retreat here. Not able to do all too much else, as now Joe hits the heroic age villagers coming over here. They're going to be greeted by a whole bunch of centaur. As the centaur pick off another villager here, this low HP villager might get picked off as well. It does go down. Some heroes coming over onto this position, as now Joe's going to be making his way over here to cause some issues for him. Do we see a market down for Joe? Yes, we do. So he knows exactly what he is trying to do in this game. And surely Ulysses knows as well. As soon as that ceasefire was cast, Joe decided that this was the way you wanted to play it, and it is a risky game plan. We'll see if it's going to pay off for him, as the Hippocon circling around the back here. You don't really need to take this fight here. I think that maybe Ulysses could turn just a little bit. I guess with the Manticore, it's a little bit hard. Now we are seeing some militia coming in here. This is a very good fight here for Joe to be taking. I would love to see a Pegasus getting built by Joe over onto this position here, as we are seeing villagers coming through there. And Joe not realizing this is going to be his downfall, not leaving a unit over there. We see the Katoskopos on this position running back and forth, not being of any use here. And imagine Underworld now onto this gold mine, as this gold mine over here. So only got 271 gold in it. Oh, Hephaestus. What's your game plan? He's throwing his game plan out the window. The Hephaestus will reduce the villager differential by 10 villagers. So technically, Joe will go up to 50 villagers here when he hits the Mythic Age. But Ulysses is going to be up 20 villagers. So it doesn't matter in the slightest here, as the centaur do come over onto this position. And the units here for Ulysses are going to be hanging out. We see Aphrodite coming through for Ulysses. So that's going to be a big ticket stopper for any sort of Underworld shenanigans here as this game continues on. The Hippocon coming in onto this position. We see one centaur getting taken down. We see the town center getting grabbed by Joe here, as the Hephaestus just about to hit. Joe pushing in, take this fight, but a curse will get dropped over here. I'm sure those centaur are a little bit too much in the open here, as well as the Manticore getting taken down, and Joe has to retreat back. Town center gets grabbed, and we've got 35 favor in the bank, so he can get those early upgrades, but he's not going to really be able to afford them. We do see a cheeky wall here for Ulysses to defend over here. The centaur going after this Hippocon just a little bit. We'll be able to take that down, getting a couple of extra cheeky kills here with these centaur. Nice extra value there as he does turn around, taking this fight, as looks like Ulysses may be overstepping his bounds here, as the Plenty Vault does come through. Do we see an immediate an immediate Bellerophon. Not just yet. That's very important when you go for the fast mythic off of, or the semi-fast mythic off of one town center. 2 town centers is now up for Joe. And this town center for Joe really slows down any potential pushes that he could do here in this game, because he's shorted himself like the resources to get himself Bellerophon or a fortress and a Heliopoli, all of that good stuff. You see a Hippocon up on this position taking down villages, but Ulysses is just going to be very calmly collected. Imagine Lightning Storm right now. All of these units would die. He'd be able to Underworld onto this, and this game would be literally over because Ulysses got 0 gold in the bank. Frustrating. This build here from Joe was beautiful, but he just picked the wrong mythic god. As villagers now coming back up onto this large gold mine over here. We see the Hippocon pushing in to try and take down this Jason over here on the back to allow the Centaur to get a little bit more. We see the Colossus pushing in, going to take down the stable on this location, but there's just 26 villagers happily mining away over here. As the Centaur coming in, and now the Bellerophon is in. This is a scary unit here for Poseidon, and we'll see what Joe's going to do. The thing is with Bellerophon, he's got a 20-second recharge time, which can one-hit villagers at 6 speed. So you want to be sending this Bellerophon up here, or like over here, or into the main base to pick off villagers here, or anything like that. Not where your opponent's units are, because that's where you can deal with the Bellerophon. So you do see the Bellerophon trying to retreat away. As Joe is just kind of slipping here in this game. 84 population. Ulysses has seemingly defended here, and we see Joe going to be eating this gold mine, trying to reduce the amount of gold that Ulysses can mine from said gold mine. But 47 villages to 78, 77. Ulysses is nearly up to 80 villages here, as that early second town center is more than paid for itself. This one Hippocon up on this position is getting taken down as we see a marker getting dropped. Ulysses wanting to get to the next age as soon as he can. See this Hippolyta taking out the Colossus as the Theseus coming in here as well. Joe has to retreat back as his farms coming down, villages getting produced, but just so far, well, I mean, not that far. 60 villages to 80 villages, technically, because he's got plenty vault there, but that's still a 20 villager deficit, which is a big deal here. As Ulysses pushing forward now, and maybe Joe's going to be under the pump as this game is continuing. The villagers coming over here onto this large gold mine to grab that one as soon as they can. We see the Underworld coming over here onto this position, and Ulysses calmly, collectively retreats. He's got a gate here, and he's just going to say goodbye. And what can Joe do with this Underworld? Not a lot. He doesn't even have a Colossus over here. Where is the Underworld? Is the Colossus coming? Yes, he does. So at least that's going to be a help. But while this is going on, Joe's villages are under attack, and that's you can't be losing villages if you're behind in villages because you go for a tech play. Losing villages means you lose the game in a big way. And he doesn't lose too many of them, but he has idle time now as the Hippocon are going straight after this town center here. Plenty of Toxotes here, plenty of units in for Ulysses here as well, as Joe's now sending the Colossus in to try and take this town center down. And we'll see how this is going to go. More Prodromus coming in here as best as they can. We see the granary getting taken out. Another Colossus coming through for Joe, as villagers now onto this wood line over here. Villagers up onto this gold mine here, as Ulysses is going to be going after the Underworld passage, as 2 Colossus onto the town center. The fortified town centers might not come in time here, it would seem. But Ulysses has now got 3 town centers, so even if he loses that back town center, he's still going to be equal in terms of population. And the game is going to continue quite crazily here. As Theseus pulling back, we see the Hippocon going after said Theseus here, as the Prodromus taking down these Colossus nicely. The Hippolyta coming in to take down this Colossus, as well as the gate going to be getting torn down. The Underworld passage on the back, however, does get sniped by a grand total of 6 Hippocon. Beautiful play there from Ulysses to deal with this, but now the Colossus going after the main base. Where's the Atlanta in all of this is the big question that's on my lips, and everyone else's really should be the same. We see fortified town centers coming through. Atlanta and Theseus queued up in this town center. They're not gonna come out in time, it would seem, as the town center is getting torn down very, very quickly here. As now the Hippocon coming through here, we see the stable getting dropped on this position. The Hippocon looking to come up and raid this gold mine up here, I'm sure. The town center here getting very close to falling, and these Colossus are going to be paying for themselves very nicely as Ulysses is going to be clicking up through Artemis on this front town center as the Colossus is going to be retreating away now. They might want to, well, they just deny the town center from getting built up. They can just stand here and do that for a hot minute. Meanwhile, the Hippocon do chase, Ulysses Hippocon away. We have ourselves 7 Hippocon chasing 5 Hippocon though, as some forward builds coming down for Ulysses. We've got some raids coming onto this gold mine over here. As the gold mine is expired, now the villagers have to move up over here onto these kind of unsafe gold mines as the towns are going to be coming back up. The Colossus were dealt with. Bronze mail coming through, heavy cavalry coming through for Joe as well. As he's going to send more units in onto this position. Even Toxotes coming in to take down some more villages. 68 villages to 70 villages. Now Joe's in front in terms of economy, but is it too little too late is the big question. So we got some stray villages through here as well, trying to put some side builds in on the front. Definitely these buildings on this gold mine are going to be a frustrating thing for Joe to have to deal with here. As the town center shooting back up, will Joe be able to put a stop to this one? He should be rushing this down, but he's not doing that. And the town center does come up for Ulysses. This one as well, as we see some raids coming through here for onto Joe's gold mine. Joe's got himself plenty of gold. Ulysses is definitely struggling for gold in this game as the raid's still coming in over here. As Joe has to pull off this gold mine for the time being now. Ulysses grabbing Joe's like 4th gold mine or whatever it is. As Joe going to grab his 3rd gold mine. Ulysses gets his town center up in this main base. Just getting the 3rd town center over here. Earthquake has come through, or not Earthquake, but Artemis has come through for Ulysses. So we'll see where he wants to cast said Earthquake as he goes straight for the main base here. He should be, the town center should fall. He takes down the temple, takes down a whole bunch of houses and the town center. Will Joe be going for having to use a ceasefire here? He doesn't have a whole lot of wood in the bank here. As the town center going to go back up, the houses have to be rebuilt. Meanwhile, this Chimera here dodges the Bellerophon. A dancing Chimera is not a common Chimera, but he does manage to dance there in this game here. As it's going to be trying to retreat away. You do have to be a little bit careful with what you got here. As the Chimera gets caught. Bellerophon going to be able to jump in here and take this one out if Joe's paying attention. So he does do that. The Chimera is down to 200 HP. It's a huge hit as the Bellerophon does cut this one off. Now these villages here getting cut off as well as Joe's still putting good damage on. Meanwhile, the Hippocon coming in onto this position. We see the house is back up. Joe's up to 145 population. Ulysses has got his 160 population though because he does have fortified town centers in. So that's an advantage there as now Joe's got resources up the wazoo. But where's all these military buildings? He's got some archery ranges, but not that many stables here. So he's really struggling to spend his resources. Still trying to put the raids onto Ulysses as now Joe's villages are going to be getting targeted down. This gold mine has expired. This gold mine over here not being mined from. This gold mine over here being occupied. Joe with no gold in the bank. Well, he's got 1,000 gold in the bank, but no gold being gathered here. He's going to be finding himself in a bit of a difficult predicament fairly soon, but he can keep these raids going. He's got a lot of idle units over here for Ulysses. Ulysses at 132 of 160 population. Joe's at 130 of 145 population as these villages have to retreat away. Flood control, divine blood coming in as well for Ulysses. These villages getting taken down as Joe is on the warpath to try and kill off as many of Ulysses' villages as he possibly can here. But as Ulysses has gone through Artemis here and Joe's through Hephaestus, all Joe has to do is kind of defend here. But like we're seeing the 22-minute Forge of Olympus after a 13-minute Hephaestus come in, and Bellerophon does get taken down. As Joe's trying to push through here. See the villagers returning back onto this gold mine as the raids are unrelenting here from Ulysses. Obviously, he knows this is the only gold mine which Joe's got. We see a market up in the top corner here to get a very, very juicy trade route started. Now we've got the Hippocon coming through onto this gold mine. As Joe knows, this is probably the only gold mine that Ulysses has got. There's more units coming over here. No gold in the bank for Joe. This Forge of Olympus here is not going to be much help at all here, as Donkey Caravan's getting taken down. The market over here is fairly weak. We're seeing a villagers moving forward over here. Maybe a market over here for Joe in the near future as the villagers do retreat back, coming over onto this position. We've got Toxotes coming through here with some heavy Hippocon to boot to go after these villagers, as both players' economy is getting absolutely tormented in this game here. As Copper Shield's Watchtowers coming through for Joe, and now we see a Chimera. It's a bit scary now. That Chimera is going to be able to do some very, very good damage to Joe's army here. As Joe doesn't have any heroes at the moment, and no gold either. But 8 Donkey Caravans and a potential market to start up here, as we're starting to see Donkey Caravans coming through for Ulysses as well as the villages on this location. Imagine a Chimera or a handful of Fire Giant on this location. That's a big one. As Joe's sacrificing a lot of units to kill off these villagers right now. Ulysses' villager count dropping just a little bit as the Chimera burns those Toxotes down. That special ability on like low HP Toxotes or medium Toxotes or unupgraded Toxotes just does so much damage. As we see Ulysses move forward, steals the Plenty of Vault away for just a hot second, looking for some more villager kills here as the game is continuing along. Chimera also looking for something to kill off here as well. As Joe is searching around the map, going to be looking to kill off these villagers on this gold mine. That's just, I love it. There's no walls. No, these guys aren't building walls. This is classic. Just a classic messy game because no walls have been built. They can just keep on raiding each other into the ground, and it's absolute chaos for the entirety of this game in the truest way. But now we've got no selling of wood available for Joe. He can sell some food here if he wants. But both players very low on the gold here as a Donkey Caravan getting taken down, and both players have full population, but obviously Ulysses has got the extra population, and he does have a better trade route here. So his 7 Donkey Caravans going to be doing a little bit better than Joe's 10. As a market coming up over here, we see the villagers coming over here as well. Got some entire getting built by Ulysses as he wants to get some building rates started here in this game. As it seems to me like Ulysses is kind of equalized here in a big way. The Chimera taking down some of these Hippocon as well. Help of Toxotes in the back. Meanwhile, raids coming over here. We don't see any sort of Colossus ideas here from Joe. He's getting himself Bronze Mail now. Spirited Charge coming through for Ulysses as well. As the villagers are turning up onto this gold mine. See some Tyroid coming out. They only deal 10.4 damage compared to the Hippocon, which does 13 damage. But they're still fairly decent at taking out villagers and the like here. As now we see Joe retreating back to try and keep his villagers alive, deal with these cheeky raids that are going on. We've got Heracles now going after the Chimera here, but the Toxotes are in as well. As they could take down the Heracles pretty quickly. Ulysses not paying attention on that one there. As the market is falling there, and that's going to put a slowdown on Joe's gold income. That is for sure here. Oh no. And now Ulysses notices a pretty glaring weakness in Joe's position is this, this forest here. This forest with a wall and a Petropolis with maybe engineers, maybe without engineers, is going to be able to start taking this town center down. And it's going to be a very, very tough one for him to hold on here. It is tough though, because Ulysses currently doesn't really have all too many resources to do all too much with, as the Chimera does manage to keep itself alive here against that Jason. The Chimera is going to come in and kill off all these Toxotes yet again with one special ability though. But Joe has started his trade route in the corner, so too has Ulysses. So they both managed to do that in a big way, as the Chimera does push in. Joe does cast himself Ceasefire here, as he has been holding on to that one for quite some time. Fortified Town Centers coming through, Mason's Olympic Heritage coming through as well, as these guys are making me stay up all night for this ridiculously long series. But while this is going on, we see a wall coming up. Does Joe see this though? Answer, No, he's got no idea what's going on over here as the walls are up. And does Ulysses, or is Ulysses going to be getting himself any sort of Petropolis here anytime soon? Not just yet. Still putting pressure over here, but he can be getting the Petropolis in the near future. As I mean, how's the armor upgrades looking? Kind of non-existent for both players. Joe does have the Forge of Olympus, so should be getting those for very, very cheap here, but he's not able to afford them because he's got no resources. Or no gold, I should say. He's got plenty of food and wood. As the game somewhat continuing, but still no hoplite time. Zeus does have hoplites, that is true. As the Toxotes getting pushed back. Nice spread formation there to keep those Toxotes alive, but the army is pushing through, and this gold mine is going to be getting put to rest. Not only that, we do see Ulysses now coming over into this corner, going to try and secure this corner for himself. A fortress getting thrown up here, and that's going to be making life very difficult for Joe, as Joe is slowly but surely falling in this game. As the Hippocon push off this gold mine, Joe's going to be losing out on his gold as well from his trade route, but the villagers do spot this as a cheeky stable coming up over here as well. But will he actually be able to put a complete stop to this fortress? And it looks like Joe decides the answer is no. No gold in the back, 136 population, no fortified town centers. Ulysses with every advantage under the sun, and honestly, this game was one for Joe. He played the strategy perfectly. All he needed to do was click Hera and then cast Lightning Storm on his opponent's army and then go for Gold Staff. And he could have ended this game at like 15 minutes, but decided to go through Hephaestus in technically the safe play here, but just not able to do anything with it and not able to stabilize against the Artemis. And we're now going into a game number 9 in a best of 9. As we see how close these guys are in terms of skill, as this series literally can go any way now. Literally can go any way. If you guys are enjoying the series, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.